They are at it again, y'all. Shady lenders trying to take advantage of unwary consumers. But fortunately, I am here to provide you with the knowledge to ensure that you do not get taken advantage of. So every week, people from all across the country are sending me fee sheets, loan estimates, closing disclosures, asking me to read through it for them, decipher some of the numbers, and let them know whether or not they're getting a good deal. And a lot of times it is a solid deal. Sometimes it's a great deal. But there's a disturbing frequency where the consumer is absolutely 1000% positively getting ripped off. And I'm going to show you two of those scenarios here today. So in this first one, the borrower reached out and explained that he had gotten linked in with this lender through some kind of recommendation, I'm not sure where. And everything seemed great, especially when the lender informed this guy that you're gonna get a 5.5% rate. And at this time in October of 2025, that's pretty good. That's top of the market, for par rates anyways. And so the borrower was really, really happy. They get under contract on a home. They're doing it, man, right? They're achieving their dreams of home ownership. And then it happens the way it always happens. The lender, without warning, sends out the initial disclosures, which is this big old fat packet. A lot of it's just standard kind of government required home buyer disclosures, but right smack dab in the middle of that, there's your initial 3-page loan estimate. So the borrower looks at it. Of course, the first page, right there, 5.5%, middle of the page, very prominent, can't miss it. Okay, flips the page, kind of looking, the second page, as you know, because you've watched my videos, has the itemization of the loan, all the line items, everything that goes into it, right, as far as closing costs go. And it can be a little bit hard to decipher, but what he notices is that top left in this weird box that says origination charges. What could that be? I don't know. There's some spicy numbers, big numbers, almost like $9,000. He's like, what WTF is happening right now, right? So, first thing he does, of course, he tries to get in touch with his lender. Well, takes almost a day to get his lender on a call. And then he's like, hey, I know I got the 5.5, that's great, but what's all this? And the lender just gives him some hogwash about, how the market has shifted and all that. It's complete crap, okay? Because this lender had given the impression that was just the rate for this guy. No buy downs, no fees, no charges, any of that, right? And the borrower didn't really know enough about loans to know that there were very particular questions that he should have asked right when he was offered that rate, right? And because you've watched my videos, you know what that question is. What are the costs and fees associated with this rate? He didn't know to ask that. So lender gives it some hogwash, like it was totally out of his control. That's BS, okay? There's no scenario where a rate goes from free or almost free or even inexpensive to costing $8,000 or $9,000. It just doesn't happen that way, especially in a matter of just a few days. So borrower reaches out to me like, Mike, take a look at this, man. What do you think? So I take a look at it. I confirm that, yeah, that's spicy for that rate. So why don't you tell me what your FICO score is, and I'll run a scenario for you. So that's what I do, right? I have an engine, a pricing engine, where I can put in the details, the state, zip code, purchase price, loan amount, FICO score, just kind of that stuff, and run some generic pricing. And what do I find? That I can get this individual the same rate for over $5,000 less than this other person. In fact, since I don't even have fees on VA, it actually came out to about $5,000 in points and $2,000 in fees. So really a $7,000 swing. This is why it is so critical to be educated on loans. And notice I didn't say the most important thing is to shop around, because you can shop all the live long day, but if you don't understand loans, if you can't read loan estimates, if you don't know the questions to ask, then what's the point of shopping around? so you can get lied to by 3 lenders rather than 1. So as I was talking to this individual, I'm also coaching, right? What questions to ask. So we're doing an estimate, and I'm going to get this individual in this home for significantly less out of pocket. So let's move on to scenario number 2. And this one's kind of similar, but it's a different loan program. So this person was looking to refinance their home, but draw out some equity, about $100,000 of equity in order to consolidate debt and then do some other things. And it's an FHA loan. So this is classified as an FHA cash out refinance. Now here's the kicker, right? Credit scores, not the best. So the males was around 640, but the females was around 540, which it's low, right? Some lenders won't even touch it. I don't care. Some lenders won't touch it. And they knew it was low. Like they weren't kidding themselves, right? And that's kind of how they got trapped right there, is that the lender they fell in with made it seem like he was basically the only lender on God's green earth willing to do the loan. They were fortunate to be aligned with him, and he was going to get it done somehow, some way. It just wasn't going to be pretty, but they were going to get their money. And I think they were made to feel like because their credit scores were at a certain level that they didn't really have room to negotiate or shop. And he just kind of sent it to me, just to put eyes on it. So I do the same thing I always do. I take a look at it. Woo, that's spicy for that rate. Now cash out rates are a little bit higher. Okay, granted, but it was still spicy. So I say, hey, give me the FICO scores. I run my pricing engine. Lo and behold, I can get them the same rate for about $5,000 cheaper. Now they're both mind blown. They're like, there's no way I thought it could be this inexpensive with our credit scores. And so I go into explain how every lender prices things differently based on their overlays, based on their margins, based on their threshold for risk. So whereas one lender may price a loan at 540 FICO one way, another lender might price it very, very differently. And that's exactly what they found out. So now we're going to do their cash out refinance. We're going to get them the $100,000 they wanted to withdraw out of the equity, but they have a couple of options, right? They can take that same rate for significantly less out of pocket, or they can pay the same out of pocket for a substantially better interest rate. So we're actually going to talk about that a bit today. So these are my 2 scenarios, y'all. Like the moral of the story, like if something doesn't seem right, please reach out to me. Please send me your loan estimate, your fee sheet, your closing, whatever it is. If nothing else, I will look it over. I'll explain to you what I see. Is it a good deal? Is it a ho-hum deal? Are you getting taken to the woodshed? Like I can do that. I'm absolutely free. People always ask me, what do you charge for this? Oh yeah, nothing. Like just send me the numbers, man. I'll take a look at it. You don't have to worry. And I'll also do my best to educate you a bit so that the next time that you're in this position where a lender is just giving you numbers with no explanation, no education, no context, you actually know how to read it, or at least the right questions to ask. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other content.